Good evening, everyone. This is your Commissioner Joe Pizarro coming to you with a very late Week 6 recaps, but better late than never. And you always have my word that I am a man of my word, and I will get through these nice and efficiently for everybody. We're just going to go through each matchup, very standard recap. We'll start with the Ogle football team versus New Zealand's finest. It was a very average at best showing from Ogle. Justin Herbert and Wan'Dale Robinson, 20 points each. Chris Olave, very solid draft pick by Ogle. He's been a double-digit contributor for him all season. And Jake Ferguson has been an excellent pickup, one of the top tight ends this year. The one question I have about Ogle's team going forward is his trade of Josh Jacobs for Jordan Mason and Terry McLaurin. I get the Jordan Mason keeper value going forward. He is not a better player than Josh Jacobs this year. Terry McLaurin still has yet to play for the Ogle football team. So this is one we'll have to wait and see how it plays out the rest of the year. But either way, Ogle put up just enough points to beat a very pedestrian New Zealand's finest, or New Zealand's not finest hour last week, which was putting up only 68 points. And, great game from Trey McBride, 21 points. Definitely tough break this week with injuries. Puka going down, Emeka Ibuka going down. And his running back room, where early, very good, very strong, very deep, but also very old. So Derrick Henry is starting to show his age. J.K. Dobbins, we'll see how much he has the rest of the year. Tony Pollard on the bench, good backup, but shitty team. So we will see. And A.J. Brown and Bo Nix are the guys that really need to step up for this team to make it what it really needs to be. A.J. Brown, good week last week. I think he'll like what he sees from A.J. Brown this week. But he's going to be a pillar of how good this team can really be. There's a lot of depth. There's a lot of decisions to make each week, which Matt set himself up for at the draft with his draft capital. But still two very good teams, two teams I expect to see in the playoffs. But there's a lot of work that needs to get done, I think, in both of these scenarios. We move on to the Pylon Pillager versus Sons of Scotland. And, it's just another gross game for Brett, another tough performance. It's been a tough season for Brett. Losing Joe Burrow early, having George Kittle pretty much go down immediately, Rashee Rice on suspension, who we knew he would be good when he came back. It's just that the Pillagers have, I think, started to mail it in already. Drake May was his only good performer last week with about 30. But, I think he was hoping that he could stay afloat when he got some reinforcements coming back. But I think he's been throwing in the towel, and we will be seeing Tank 6.0 coming at us sooner than we thought. And Jimmy, he did what he had to do. I mean, Justin Jefferson on a bye, also with Nico Collins, two of his best players, and Jaden Daniels did what he was a good leader this week, 25 points. Dallas Goedert has been excellent and on a hot streak, kind of hooking up with Jalen Hurts. Ashton Genty has been very solid. I think he is better than the team that he's on. I think his talent is there. I think he's probably in for a good second half if they can just get it together just a little bit. But Jimmy in a really good spot at 5-1, moving forward, piling up wins as he always does. We move on to the matchup between myself and Buzz Crawley, Kim Jo-eun versus the associate. I had a decent performance out of Jalen Hurts and Jonathan Taylor, two guys that have just been a model of consistency for me. Rashad White has done a very good job spelling Bucky Irvin while he's been hurt, being in that 15 plus a week. But a couple of roster, start sits really hurt me this week. Evan Ingram on the bench with about 10, which I think Juwan Johnson had 1. Monty Vidal and Kendrick Bourne, basically 20 plus, better than any single flex or wide receiver option I put out there this week. So did it to myself, but Buzz did what he needed to do to win. He had Daniel Jones with 24, Jalen Waddle and Sam Laporta did enough for him. And come Monday night, James Cook and his defense did enough to scrape away with the win, 97.5 to 94.22. Buzz keeps on winning. I think Jordan Addison, he was on a bye. I think he's a really good player for Buzz going forward. So I see a good team. Do I see a great team here? I don't know. But the wins are all that matters. So see how many more wins Buzz can keep piling up. I would, if I was Buzz, think about improving some of these positions. We move on to what was a very close and gritty matchup to just another gross matchup. John Finnerty versus Brennan. And John had a great week, 113, and Brandon had another pathetic week. It was another pathetic showing by a pathetic team. DK Metcalf had 20. He's his only respectable player. Chase Brown has really struggled without Joe Burrow on the team. the draft. Brandon always loves to draft guys that are old and used to be good, and they always find a decent year in them. That hasn't happened. The luck has been it's run out for this team, and you could say that if Lamar was healthy, he'd be closer, and that's all you can say. He still would have lost. It's still a really bad team. It's still a really poorly managed team, and I'll expect to see Brandon competing for the worst team in the league as the year progresses. John, he is finding some lightning in a bottle with Rico Dowdle the last 2 weeks, stepping in for Chuba Hubbard, 30 plus last 2 weeks. The Bears came through for him, specifically Caleb Williams and DeAndre Swift with over 20. It was a really good week for John. It was a moment of glory for an otherwise very cursed franchise as he sees players that he trades away just do much better than they did on his own team. Tale as old as time. Some things just don't change. And we move on to the newest dad of the family that we call the TPR Sports League. Mikey Tambury continues to dominate both in fantasy and in life. 145 to 74 against the Arlington Astrophysicists. Doubled up Travis's point total. It was just another dominant performance by Mikey. CMC, steady as always. Jamar Chase, Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, still showing that they can still get it done. And his acquisition of Devon Achane is going to prove to be another excellent acquisition for what he gave up. My only question marks, and this is more of a nitpicking thing because there's not much to nitpick about what Mikey's done because he's had a great draft. He has great keepers. He's made great trades. His team average age is a little bit up there compared to some others. So we're starting to see a couple nicks in there with Debo and Garrett Wilson a little bit hurt. But his bench is thin-ish. But that I'm nitpicking here. I think with Mikey is a great cushion, great lead. I think he just needs to be healthy going into the playoffs, and he'll be a force to be reckoned with. That will not be the case for Travis this year, who has it was doomed from the start. Doomed when he made the draft day trade of trading away Josh Allen and Devon Achane, not getting the guys that he probably thought he was going to, and his best player going down for the year, Malik Neighbors. It is just get ready for next year type season for Travis. Tyler Warren is an excellent pickup. Probably doesn't have the best value going forward as far as keeper, but is definitely a top tight end for the years to come. So that's definitely a nice building block for Travis, along with him and Malik Neighbors. But I'm sure he's going to try to sell or do something to get ready for next year. And we will see how many rookies, if he can break the record of how many rookies to draft on draft day, because I'm sure we'll see it again next year. Moving on, we have Mike Monaco, who just dominated Varun this week, 160 to 87. Monaco, just another excellent showing by the Rams. Up and down, I think Drake London and George Pickens were over 30. Brian Thomas Jr. decided to be decent last week with 23, even though he's pretty scared to go over the middle. He was fine last week, scoring a touchdown and 23 points. Just all in all, solid team effort for the Rams, and just another unfortunate year for Varun. He set himself up for a tough start, going for it last year, trading away his first. Didn't really work out. He still has CD, but he got hurt. Hasn't been able to scratch together a win since he's been gone. He's coming back this week, so I'm sure that'll be helpful. Kyron's been good. Isaiah Pacheco's been ass. But I think time will tell with Varun. It's probably one of those years that let me just get ready for next year. And it's getting late early for CD's nuts. We'll see what he can do the rest of the year. And for our final matchup of the week, we have Zeev versus Tom Phone. Great matchup all around. Solid performances from both, but one just was a lot better than the other. Zeev, you love to see our West Coast homie putting things together. 149 points. His boy Bijan leading the team as always with 36. He hit on draft day with JSN in the first round. He's been nothing but a godsend for this team, and he switched up his strategy. He stopped drafting the over 30 teams, and he went with some youth. He's got Cam Scatterbo, who's been a clear RB1. He's not even starting Matthew Golden, who I think is starting to come around a little bit more. So good, solid pickups, good wide receiver depth, a 1-2 punch at running back, but he needs to figure out his quarterback situation. It's someone new every week. He picks up Michael Penix every other week. You can keep picking him up all year, Zeev. He's not the answer. Figure that part out, and I think we got a good, solid chance at the playoffs for you this year. Tom Phone put together a nice, solid week for whoever was on his team for this week. The analogy I came up with Tom Phone's team is I feel like he's running an Airbnb at the Dwayne Bowe's because some people just come in for the weekend and next week they're on to the next team. And he has Josh Jacobs, who he traded for. Maybe he'll keep him the rest of the year. Maybe he won't. Lad McConkey had a nice Airbnb weekend stay with the Dwayne Bows, scoring 23, but he has already moved on to bigger and better. Good games from Josh Allen and Ted McMillan, but it just wasn't enough to go up against an excellent performance from Zeev. I'm sure Tom will trade himself in and out of contention 3 or 4 more times over. He'll probably be there towards the end. We just have no clue who the hell will be on his team by then. So keep at it, phone. It's always entertaining. So let's just take a look at where we stand going into week 7. Mikey at the top of the leaderboard, both in points, both in record. Buzz and Jimmy right behind it at 5-1, giving themselves a nice little cushion, both on a winning streak. Monaco and Ogle at 4-2, very solid starts to the year for both of them. We got Tom, Zeev, myself, and Matt all at 3-3. I mean, I think out of those 9, 7 of them are going to be, who's going to be in the playoffs, because I think there's a clear divide right after that. You got the best of the rest and John Finnerty, and you got the 4 teams that are just already starting for next year. So there is a lot of football left. We have excellent matchups going on as we speak. So with that, we are through 6 weeks, on to 7 weeks. As I'm recording this. So keep at it, keep the activity high, keep the shit talking high. This is your commission.